Good morning, good morning, good morning. T-Soy. Let's take a peek. T-Soy. Nothing right now. Definitely needs some volume and or a PR to go anywhere. Not really liking that one at the moment. You know, had this decent run, but kind of stabilized since then. Found maybe a new base around 2.7. It needs volume and a PR though to go anywhere from there. That's what I'd say on T-Soy. So we're gonna go back down through my pre-market scans here, see if there's anything that I might have missed. SBEV is a decent morning spiker. It looks pretty decent. For NASDAQ anyways. Well, not a NASDAQ, I'm not really sure what it is to be honest. It's obviously trading pre-market. Ooh, JWEL got killed, huh? Any other tickers out there? Anything you guys want me to take a peek at? DNA looks like it bounced off lows pretty good yesterday. As well as Frey, kind of matched that $9 low from earlier in the end of last year. OWUV could bounce off lows, but it doesn't have much on the daily range, so. So it doesn't look like I missed too much. I'm going to change my scan over here to my opening bell scan and get ready for that to start filling up. That'll show me stuff that's gapping up first thing as soon as the bell rings. So with there's a couple of breaking news alerts this morning. TLOFF was one. It says that they struck a deal with Tesla, so that could be actually a really good runner this morning. It's already gapping up though from basically 46 cents to 80. So it's already gapping up pretty high. Could run all day though. Could be a good runner. I'm not sure on the float. Shows 696 million shares. So that's pretty high market cap already. But that doesn't mean anything when it's got news like a Tesla deal. So we're gonna be watching that one out of the open. We're gonna be watching HCYT out of the open. The last time this ran, it ran from 3 cents to 30 cents. And we're going to be watching ACAN out of the open. ACAN had release their earnings, 225% year-over-year revenue growth. That's really good growth. So we'll see if it can react that way. There's a little bit of a mini breakout right here at about 65 cents. You can see it topped out there yesterday, but they didn't have a PR yesterday. Definitely going to need a lot more volume than it has had recently. Shows only a 24 million float, which is pretty low float for an OTC stock. So we'll see what happens there. CLIS, of course I mentioned that. Or, no, I didn't on my watch list. Maybe I did. Not sure. Anyways, there's a little bit of a multi-day breakout here at 5 cents. Might need to consolidate a little bit more before it attempts to hit that and break that. But they do have a PR this morning, so we'll see how it reacts to the PR. Any other tickers out there? Is anybody watching? Anybody got any tickers that they want me to take a peek at and give my 2 cents on? And they don't have to be 2-cent tickers. I'll give you my 2 cents on any ticker. Definitely specialize more in OTCs than Nasdaqs, but I can tell you what I think on some Nasdaqs, and that's about it. Make sure to pee if you haven't. ENZC just had PR this morning as well. Now ENZC has been kind of dead. PRs haven't really been pushing it. We'll see if this one does, but not sure if it will or not. Also not sure if you can hear that hear the chat alerts or not. Unfortunately, I need the chat alerts. I think I have it set so that you don't hear them, but let me know if you do. So the last ENZC was on 1.7. Boom. Nothing doing. ENZC's kind of dead. Not saying this one won't move it, but I don't think it will. We sitting here, we out here, we doing it. Man, I gotta try and figure out how to get these out. Maybe a push to talk setup would be best. I'm not sure if I can get that on OBS or not. I'd like to see OWUV is my number one watch on the, well, I shouldn't say number one watch, but it is a watch on the day. I want to see it morning panic dip by to about 0.15. You can see on the front side of the move it had some support in that area, and then so if it dipped down there it could have support again and get a little bit of a bounce off that area. The other one that I'm watching, ENZC, looking for a little bit of a multi-day breakout here above 16. Now it might need to consolidate a little bit more or need a PR or something to drive it up above that level. So it's going to remain on watch until it starts approaching that level, and then I'll probably hop in and play it. HCYT. Now this has a lot of potential today. You can see it has a history of one-day spikers back in February and then in June, the end of June. It ran from 3 cents to 30 cents. It has a PR this morning, letter of intent for acquisition of Catheter Precision Inc. Obviously not a fun topic, but it definitely has the potential to spike. I'd be looking for a 10-20% move out of this if I got into some morning strength. You do not want to overstay your welcome and get caught on the backside of that one, because it obviously spiked and then returned really low the last time it spiked. So I wouldn't expect a continued move out of HCYT. ACAN, ACAN. They had a PR this morning, 225% year-over-year revenue growth, and it's got a little bit of a mini breakout here at 0.065. Bounced off that high yesterday. If we can retest it today, especially with the PR, then we could be sailing on blue skies. Last stock I have on the watch list, CLIS. Actually, not the last stock, but second to last. CLIS has a PR this morning as well, looking for a multi-day breakout at 0.05. If we can retest that today on volume, I'd be interested in playing that. And now the last stock, TLOFF. This actually has a Tesla partnership deal news this morning. It is a PR from Talon Metals, not from Tesla. So whether it's confirmed or not, I'm not 100% sure, but that obviously has the potential to spike this stock a lot. But it's already gapping up from 46 cents to a high of 85. Now it's trading right around 75 cents. Could potentially be an all-day runner, so we'll keep a very close eye on that one and see what happens. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties there. I apologize. Alright, here we go. So T-Loft is dipping a little bit out of the open. So I'm not sure why my watch list isn't populating over to the left on my opening bell scan. Sometimes it does that, but it should be populating over there. HCYT is also dipping out of the open, which is not a great sign for positive reaction to the PR. OWUV is showing a little bit of strength out of the open. Could possibly be a first green day bounce idea. I'd like it to confirm a little bit before I decide if I want to enter. I think a lot of people are going to be caught long in TLOFF, so probably going to sell off pretty heavy out of the open. And then maybe it'll attract some short sellers, and then if we can get a reversal, then it would be looking good for a long setup. Not too much happening right out of the gate. I'm going to get rid of this because obviously it's not going to populate for me. I don't know why. They do that to me sometimes. Great, now that's not populating. There we go. T-Loft might have found a bottom there. I gotta pull up the actual level 2 on my phone. Obviously, Thinkorswim doesn't have level 2 for OTCs, but the TD Ameritrade app on the phone does for some reason. It doesn't look like it's found a bottom. Looks like a fake turn there. And we're going lower. That's about it so far. Realistically, 6.2 should act as support. 6.2, 6.3 if we can get down that far. Right now the ask is slowly coming down to meet the bid. Usually a bearish sign. There's a lot of buying it at 65 cents, but the ask keeps coming down to narrow the spread. There's a ton of buying at 6.5. That might be the bottom there. And it's not. So remember, 6.2, 6.3 could be strength on this one. Keeping keeping an eye on T-Loft. That's about the only one I'm watching so far. There's a couple of other OTCs popping up on my pre-market scan. Unfortunately, my opening bell scan still isn't populating over here. Alright, so T-Loft is not doing what I want it to do right now. I think it's going to be a little difficult to try and pick a bottom here. I didn't think it would break that low. The hard part with a foreign ticker, one that ends in an F, 5-letter ticker, is that you get hit with foreign fees, which are $15. Definitely a pain. Still watching TLOFF. Looks like another fake turn there, though. We'll see what it does right now. There's some volume incoming, though, so that's a positive sign. I'm gonna enter here. I'm gonna take some pretty decent size. I took 10,000 shares because if it is going to run, then I need to make up for my foreign fee. I'm going to risk off from low of day, which is basically 61. I'm going to look for about 5% bounce at least on this one. So we're in T-Loft, and I'm probably going to exit right here actually. If I can get a higher bid than what we got right now. It's not looking like that. It's gonna be, there it is, 645. Actually, we're gonna give it just a little bit more time here. Right now we're currently up $192 on that $6,000 position, about a 3% gain. Tried to exit there, it was a little slow. Might get filled, might not. Hopefully I'll get filled. Actually going to cancel that. Hopefully we don't set a lower low here. Of course that's where my risk is. If not, then we're going to wait for another leg up. Hopefully get some consolidation down here and get another leg up. We're still in TLOF from a 6293 average, 10,000 shares. It's not spiking off the bottom quite like I wanted it to, but it is consolidating, so we're looking okay right now. That was a harsh cut there. We need an uptick here, really. A lot of sell-in pressure still. Has to be expected when it gaps up that much. And you got profit takers as well as people cutting their losses from pre-market or early entries, expecting the immediate run-up. Now I'm thinking 635 has some hidden size here, showing 22,500 on the ask, but it's hit that a few times and has not moved. Also have some hidden size at 6.3, obviously. But buyer steps in at 631 there. 635's been hit a few more times. There we go. 635's taken out. LVGI has made a crazy move so far this morning. Babysitting TLOF pretty heavily, but we'll pull that up real quick. This was the best play so far today, by far, up 209% already. Definitely a good dip buy there, off from its highs, and then reset another high. I would guess that it's going to start fading now, though. Wasn't a real convincing high at daybreak. That's a harsh cut there. We are now red on TLOF. That was a lot of volume that just went through. Selling pressure. And we're probably going to cut here soon. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to pan out. If it breaks a 6-1 here, then we're cutting. And it broke 6-1. That would be a decent sized loss, unfortunately. $277 loss. Bama! Didn't work like I wanted it to. Pretty indicative of the overall OTC market right now. Probably should have taken my profits around 6.5, but I didn't get executed at 6.45. Oh well, on to the next one. T-Loff is starting to make a comeback now. Wonder if I'm going to kick myself for cutting there. Still watching T-Loff. Not seeing a whole heck of a lot else that I really like. LVGI could offer a dip buy on the backside. I think shit's pretty well done spiking for the day though. So we're just keeping an eye on T-Loff. Of course, we already lost almost 300 bucks on it. Bought in at 6293 right here, and tried to get exited in 645. Didn't get executed for a 3% win. So took a loss here at just above 60, somewhere in that neighborhood. Keeping an eye on it, seeing if it's setting up a base. Low volume right now though, so that's a little scary. If you look at the daily chart, 60's offered resistance for quite a while, 60 and just above 60. So it very well could have support here because resistance becomes support when it gets broken. Obviously trading a lot of volume today, almost as much as it ever has all day, and it's only 19 minutes into the market, so we're definitely keeping an eye on this one. Also trying not to fall into the trap that I need to make my money back on it, so getting in too early. I really want to make sure it's going to set up this base before I re-enter TLOFF. Perhaps when I entered I should have had my risk level on 60 because it did act so far as perfect support, but that's a bigger loss than I usually like to take, especially given the size that I had to take to overcome the foreign ticker fee. You can see it'll break through this selling pressure, and then all of a sudden sellers just keep marching it down. Like, that's incredible. What are they even doing? I don't know if I've ever seen it act like that. Maybe it's because it's a foreign ticker. I'm going to put in an order to add to my long-term hold position on PCTL. It's dropping a little bit today. Of course, it's been very, very low volume. So PCTL, I'm going to put in an order to add 100,000 shares at 231. and see if we can scoop up another 100,000 shares today on the cheap. Alright, here we go. T-off is now testing 60 cents again. Let's see if it can support again. So far it's supported. We shall see. The volume's really kind of dried up on it though. You can see we're trading 1 million shares in a minute out of the open, 1 million shares there, almost 1 million there. Now we're trading less than 200,000. We're trading right around 100,000 shares per minute. So that makes it a little scarier as well. But if the momentum shifts and it starts going back up, then the volume could pick up as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. Makes it a little easier to tell when there is a trend change. If there's low volume and then there's a volume spurt, depending on which direction you're heading, it can be either a bearish or a bullish sign. So ideally we would see a volume surge as well as an uptick on TLOFF. Any other tickers that you guys want me to take a peek at, let me know. This is the only thing that I'm really seeing in play at this very moment. ENZC has dropped about 12%. Not really expecting a bounce yet. If it get down below the 11 cent mark, then that could possibly induce a bounce, but we shall see. So once again, I'm watching the level 2 of TLOFF on my phone because Thinkorswim does not offer level 2 for OTCs, but TD Ameritrade's mobile app does for whatever reason. I do not know. Definitely some hidden size at 615. There goes 5,000 shares, nothing moved. There goes 8,000 shares, nothing moved. So to establish hidden size, you have to compare your level 2 with your time and sales tape. Watch the shares go through at what level and see if that moves. So 615 just broke, but then more sellers stepped in, more size stepped in. And we're back below 6.1, but more buyers stepped in. See, it's still just not a whole lot of volume, so it's kind of scary. It looks like we're gonna get a downtrend here. I wouldn't be surprised if this broke 60 on this pullback. 60's acted as support, but the more time that you bang on it, the more likely it is that it's gonna break. It's like glass. You know, you picture this this 60 on the bottom as glass, and the more times you bang on it, the more likely it is to break and then go down below it. So we shall see what happens here, but I have a feeling this is not going to be going upwards anytime soon. Let's see if my opening bell scan wants to work now. Hey, it worked finally. Would have been nice because I probably would have seen LVGI sooner. Maybe hopped in on this morning spike. Now we're looking like we're on the backside of that one. SBEV's looking kind of cute. T-Law, if we're banging on 60. Is it gonna break? Is it gonna break? Hasn't yet. It's defended so far. A lot of hidden size at just above 60 there. ABQQ is up a little, but not enough volume to really make me interested in it. If we could start to approach this multi-month breakout level of 0.40, 0.04, I would be interested in that. So I'm actually going to set an alert, and so as it approaches that price, I'll get an alert. SNPW, same thing. It's up a fair amount, but not enough volume for me to be interested in it. Kink has some volume, but it's a sub-penny play and not enough volume really, dollar-wise. T-Loft still defending there at 60.05 cents. SBEV, if it could reclaim VWAP here, I could see it play. Of course, I'm not super familiar with listed stocks, so we'll see what happens. But if it can reclaim VWAP, then I can see a play there. LVGI. If I had any of this left from the run, I would be looking to exit. Look at that volume surge, and it didn't go anywhere. That is not a good sign. Well, let me rephrase that. It can be a good sign because that means that a lot of sellers just get taken out, but usually not a good sign if it can't continue that rate of volume. So it looks like 60's defended once again on TLOFF. It doesn't mean I'm going to enter yet. Still volume's starting to dry up. A little bit of a surge here, not a lot though. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a trend line. And it's pretty easy to identify the lower trend line because it is 60. Oh, LVGI is testing that level again. We'll see if a bunch of sellers step in. So again, this is not my only screen. I have one with 6 intraday charts on it with different tickers. So I have them above that I can keep an eye on. Yes, the sellers are there, but they're starting to get some buyers on LVGI. Not convicted enough to take a trade in it yet, but we shall see. So here's LVGI. Be sure to let me know if there's any tickers that you want me to take a peek at. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. OWUV just cracked a little bit of support. If you remember, that was on my watch list. Looking for that to morning panic dip by to around 15 cents. Right now we're trading around 21. So still got a little bit to go there, and should be a sharp panic for me to be interested in it. If that 320 level goes, I could see LVGI spiking more. AVVH just came out with a press release 10. Looks like right now it's starting to react positively to it. Gonna give it a little more time and see how it acts. If we can get it above 0.05 cents, then I'd be more apt to enter. The spread's pretty ugly on AVVH as well. LVGI looks like 0.032 has rejected again. Looks like the front side of that move is pretty well done. TLOFF, we're still looking like 60 is going to defend again. Have to wait and see it start curling and an influx of volume for me to take a long position in it. Not a whole lot going on out there. Come on, Thinkorswim, what are you doing? Did that to me with my opening bell scan too. There we go. SBEV is flirting with VWAP now. I am long 300 shares of SBEV from 175. Small position, of course, not super familiar with listed stocks, but it reclaimed VWAP there on some volume, risking off from 165 break. So a $30 loss. And on that note, I'm going to use the restroom. Okay, so we are re-long TLOF 6171. Risking off from a 60-cent break this time. Looks like it's found a base. And I could be wrong. That was just a fake turn. Almost got stopped out of SBEV there. Probably will wind up getting stopped out of that. Of course, my risk is 164. That was a pretty harsh cut there. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to reclaim VWAP very easily. See if 165 can defend here. Not looking like it. And maybe. There's a lot of selling pressure at 166 right now. We shall see. We shall see. And stopped out. Volume fell out of TLOF again. My position looks like shit. Oh man, I missed the TGGI panic. Take your eye off it 1 minute and it puts in a really good panic and a really nice bounce. As always, it recovered nicely. Here comes the march down on TLOF. We just briefly broke under 60. That is super disappointing. Just gonna cut it. And cut the stream. Oh, fudge monkeys. Well, I got some filled. It's all filled. Out at 60, another big loss. Fucking $500 down on the day.